But if we did do it, we would draw on those funds. So theoretically, we draw on these funds, and all that means is the bank would contact your bank to verify that that money is available, whether it's in a mortgage, whether it's in assets or whatever. And they'd draw down the money, start to charge us interest, and that'd be it. Nothing else would happen. The interest component would come out of here. So this would go into a master trust account, even the word trust account. Somebody asked me at the break, what's going to make this not work? There's only one thing that would make this not work, and that is you don't trust me. Or I don't trust you. And the reason, the whole thing that we put together, the reason that everyone thinks banks are sacred organisations. All a bank account is a trust account. The reason it's called a trust account is because that's the only thing it's based on, trust. You trust that the bank is going to give you money back. That's why they use the word, trust. How do you measure trust? It's an invisible, intangible thing. Can't be measured. There's no liability there when trust's involved. So we'd set up the trust account with these figures. We would then go to the market, and we'd have to go to the American market or whatever, and we'd then purchase $500 million worth of shares. Yeah, we've already got it. So yeah. All we're looking at, do they want the 450 million, or do they only want the 7% that it's going to cost to insure the 450 million? So they will provide 100% finance, and all we have to come up with is the interest component. And when we do that, the dividend that we get off the shares cancels out the interest component. Yeah, that's a good point, because we're looking for the holes. The more we can pick the holes in this thing, the one way, the one thing that you can do to give you constant motivation is to come up with a harebrained an idea and tell 100 people about it. Are you guys going to let me forget this idea? No, you're not. That's why I'm going to actually carry it through. The same goes for you when you go home or when you do whatever you do. The only way you're ever going to stay motivated is to voice your opinion, to declare to the universe and to your brother-in-law that this is what you're going to do. I'm going to make $100 million by the end of the year. You tell enough people that, they'll remind you, and they'll keep poking you in the guts and kicking you along. That's the best motivation you can ever get. I guarantee it. So, we call on the funds. Let's imagine that we set up this trust account by Friday. We call on the funds. We have the funds deposited into the account through the banks. The banks will all organise that. We have our insurance. We select our share. Now, this might sit there for a week or two or three while we go through and analyse and pick which share we want to get into. And we pull the trigger on it. And from, let's say, 4 weeks' time, we start to make 5% per month on that figure, just in selling options against our portfolio. So, in effect, from 4 weeks from today, we could be creating out of thin air, out of things that don't already exist at the moment, but they will because we've put words on a piece of paper and drawn a contract up. We've got 500 million invested. We've got that 100% protected, so we can't lose. The only amount of money we can lose is the interest component on that, which is the 50 million. And providing we don't take any wild risks, all we need to do is make 2 months' worth of written options at 25 million a month to cover that. Once that's covered, then we've got 8 months, let's say, to do whatever we want with. If we can return, let's say 3%. Forget about 5%. Let's say 3% a month for 8 months, that's 24%. Let's call it 25%. If we can return 25% on that figure over 12 months, that's 125 million.